What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Stag Voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. So, in today's Before You Buy, we're going to cover off Bunny Studios. So, let's get into it. So, the concept behind Bunny Studios, formerly Voice Bunny, is a platform that you as a voiceover artist, and you can provide other services on there, from audio engineers, video editors, script writers, translations, all that sort of stuff. But we're going to talk about voiceover specifically. The concept around that is that you as the voiceover artist are accepted onto their books through a quite high pass mark that I'll come on to in a moment. And once you're on there, you can be booked, you can participate in contests, and you can work on something called Speedies. The whole thing that Voice Bunny, or Bunny Studios I should say, are trying to promote is they go through an obsessive quality control to make sure that all of the voices that they provide their clients are of the highest caliber possible. Thus, their clients are going to be more inclined to use them. That's the idea. So we'll come to my first up for Bunny Studios. And my first up is actually that Bunny Studios is a free platform. It allows you to upload as many samples and as many styles as you like. Their tagging system is quite robust, and again, I'll come on to that in a moment. But yeah, it's a free system. They have some pretty decent clients on there, from what I can gather on their website anyway, and they give you multiple avenues to be able to build your voiceover business. That's good. That's an up. My next up for Voice Bunny is part of their unique proposition, really. For you as the voiceover artist, I'm not aware of any other platform that will pay you to audition. Now, whether you're successful or not, you will get paid. It might be a small amount, it might be a large amount, but that they pay you to audition is quite an interesting thing to have access to as a voiceover artist. And it's not them being selfless in doing this. And there's, again, something I'll come on to in a moment, but there's a very particular reason why they will pay you to audition. But that's a good thing. I've got to give them an up for that. My next up for Voice Bunny is actually they take care of all the billing elements when working with a client. They've got a back-end system that essentially, if you audition, if you're selected, if you do whatever work it is, they've got a processing system that will automatically pay you what you're due. So that's an up. It's a really easy thing to give as a voiceover artist, to not have to worry about doing all the invoice elements when working with a new client. I'll give them that one. My next up is actually they don't charge you as the artist any commission fees. They put their commission on top of whatever it is that the client's agreed to pay you. That's quite a refreshing thing, and when you add that in with some of the other elements that they do, yeah, again, that's a really nice thing, that you as the artist are not losing out on some of your pay for the benefit of the platform, which other platforms do. So, again, big up. The next up is perhaps a contentious one. Bunny Studios, Voice Bunny, these are interchangeable in my head. Their quality criteria is quite high. So, to be able to get on their books, and this is why it's contentious, because I am aware of seasoned voiceover artists not passing muster, and actually these are people that have got their own booths and a whole raft of other things. So the quality criteria is quite high. Your sound needs to be right, i.e. it needs to be clear, it needs to be produced in the right way. There can't be any background noises, clicks, wet sounds, all that stuff that really you don't want to have on your recording anyway. You submit your sample, an audition sample. It's written in a way that it's essentially an advert for Bunny Studios, which I believe, and I say believe because I don't know, I believe they use those samples as a marketing tool when going out to other clients, just as a demonstration of the voices that they have available. They've got maybe 4 or 5 different scripts that they put out that all basically have a different variation on, isn't our service, Voice Bunny, Bunny Studios, a wonderful thing. I don't particularly mind that, but where it's contentious is that people who are very skilled at what they do don't get through. And, of course, others do. And the way that Bunny Studios runs this is that they will allow you to audition, and that goes away for review, and that might take a couple of days, it might take a couple of weeks. And if you fail that, they'll give you an opportunity to amend it. And they'll tell you what they feel is wrong with it as well, so that you can improve. They'll give you 1 or 2 chances to do that, and then they'll just say, nah, books are closed for, I think it's about 6 weeks, and then you can reapply. The bit that I like, to be fair, is that they are promoting this big quality control element. And actually, if you do get through the quality control, I kind of take that as a mark of your own personal quality that can go out into the market. And actually, from my first failed audition that I did with them, and they gave me some of the feedback, do you know what? I was actually able to go back and go, yeah, they've got a point there. I can tweak this and do this. And ultimately, it helped me improve my audio. And anything that it helps me improve my audio, I can't begrudge. It's an up. My next up is they let you charge whatever the hell you want to charge. Again, another thing I'm going to come back to in a moment. But the reality is, if you want to charge $1,000 for 50,000 words, go ahead and do it. It's ultimately up to you. And the more successful you are on the platform, much like many of these other platforms, the more you do, the more reviews, the more etc., 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 you get a better reputation, and thus your fees are commensurate with your capability. So that they give you that, and it's not part of their set package and strategy of, right, well, you must charge this, that other sites do. Yeah, I like that. That's an up. My last up for Voice Bunny is they actually allow you to upload an obscene amount of samples. And their tagging system is quite robust, actually. So your samples always have to be about 30 seconds long, or rather a maximum of 30 seconds long. You can do them in any style that you want, and occasionally they'll actually email you saying, our clients are looking for radio announcer styles or audiobook styles or whatever it might be, to give you a little bit of a heads up as to what their particular marketplace is telling them. So you can upload these samples. The samples always have to be just your voice, no music, anything like that. But that you can essentially have an unlimited number of samples is quite good. I know other platforms only allow 10 or 20 or 30. It's an interesting thing to have. And again, the more you have, the more opportunity may come your way, because you can tag yourself up in different ways for different clients. So yeah, I'm going to give that an up, because I do like that they are empowering you on multiple fronts to really get the best out of your profile. So that's an up. And so we come to the downs. And I'm going to jump on straight away from my last up to something that's a little bit, again, contentious and a bit worrying for some people in the market. So Voice Bunny allows you to upload as many samples as you want, tag them, all the lovely things I've just said. But they insist on it being a WAV file. Now, anyone in the market will tell you that you don't send auditions, watermarked auditions at any rate, in a WAV file, because in a WAV file, that allows other people to manipulate that audio, to do really anything they please with it. An MP3 doesn't let you do that. And a WAV file is actually a larger file as well. So it's given that they've got so many people on their platform and they're all uploading WAV files, the storage capacity on that is huge. So what's the benefit to Bunny Studios with it being a WAV file? Yeah, there's concern around that. I have concern around that, about how that's used and why that's used. And that I have the concern, that gives me a concern, that's a down. And my next down is, again, I'm revisiting the good hits here. They allow you to charge whatever you want. However, their messaging, particularly around things in their speedies and their contests, and actually just in general, when you're starting out, they intimate that if you're not being selected or you're not being seen, whatever it is, it's because your prices are too high. They're not competitive with, well, your competitors. And to begin with, it feels like it's a little bit of a race to the bottom. You kind of have to give it away rock bottom prices until you build your reputation. It's an odd thing, and that they have various methods for you to be seen through the contest, through the speedies. They reinforce that message quite often. It's not just something that comes up once. So that tells me that part of their business model is, yeah, we've got lots and lots of people here, and they're not going to cost you a lot, Mr. Client, to hire, but you're still going to get the great quality. That's great for the client, and that's great for the platform, but it does mean that you, as the artist, might just be using that platform and making a tenner for a radio advert, perhaps, or for a TV commercial. These are coulds, not definites, but as I say, the messaging there, down. Now, my next revisitation, as it were, that's a word I didn't think I'd use today, is about their quality control. All the lovely things that I've just said a moment ago actually does have some negative impacts. Could, let me caveat that, could have some negative impacts on you personally on the platform. So, say you get a speedy. Now, a speedy is where the platform gets a requirement from a client for a very particular sound, whatever it is that they're looking for. That goes out to some people that match that criteria. You may be one of them. Now, you have to respond positively or negatively to that fast, essentially as soon as you get it. And say you do accept the speedy, that's yours. Literally, you just accept it, yours. That's good, and you'll get paid for submitting your sample, because they tend to only want one take. Provided your take is in the right format, it's got the right sound, it's got the delivery that the client's been looking for, boom, you are going to get paid. All sounds good so far, doesn't it? The downside of this quality control is you think it's good enough, you've submitted it. The review board on Bunny Studios go, yep, that's great. But the client goes, nah, not quite. And you'll still get paid from that, but your stats go down. And your stats on this platform are really, really important. And there's something about not having that either communication with the client directly, or there being two levels of quality control, but a third that you've got no control over, that can negatively impact you. Now, what may happen is that the client will say, no, that's not quite right. Maybe it's a mispronunciation or something. That's fine. They can respond, and they can respond. They don't always. They can respond and say, could you redo it? You again have to turn that around really, really quickly. And when I say really quickly, I'm not talking, all right, I'll get to it in an hour. You get to it now. An hour? Nah, that's not what they're talking about. When it's a speedy, it's you get it done now. And life just doesn't work like that sometimes. And yeah, I've got to give that a down, because you might have submitted a piece of work and the client doesn't come back with a response for, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days. Well, you're busy doing something else, and if you don't respond, that can negatively impact you. I get the quality control element, but there's not a lot of give on that. So, yeah, I'm going to give that a down. My next down is, again, to do with the stats. To do with them, but it's a different criteria here. So, again, I'm just going to use speedies as an example. You've got 2 different quality criteria that comes out of this. So say you get a speedy or multiple speedies and you're successful on them, and you submit them to the client approves, you might have a 100% success rate. That could put you in the top 1% of people doing speedies. But you've also got your speedy response rate. And as I've said in the last point, if you take 20 minutes to respond, that could genuinely put you in the bottom 1%. And there's no correlation there. So again, when you're trying to build your business, you essentially have to live on the platform and be active on it. That's one of their main things. If you haven't uploaded a sample in a while, they're going to say, do you still want this account? Are you still interested in working with us? They do give you the option to say, do you know what, I'm not available this time in advance. Book your holiday, essentially. But the down element comes from this of, it's not a platform that you can actively go out and search for work. The work has to come to you, which means that you always have to be available on the platform. And if you just happen to nip out to the shops one day and don't get to the speedy in time, and that negatively impacts you, regardless of, you could get to the speedy 40 minutes later because no one else has responded, get a 100% completion rate on that, which is great, but because you took half an hour, that's a bad, and it still impacts you. I think that deserves a down. Down. And my last down for Bunny Studios, Voice Bunny, Bunny Studios, I think I preferred Voice Bunny, is the meritocracy that they have. Now, it's very rare that you hear me talk about meritocracy in a bad way. I actually quite like it as just a general concept. But what Voice Bunny, Bunny Studios, will absolutely do is support their best performing voice artists. They promote their best performing voice artists. They contact, more often than not, their best performing voice artists. Now, you're sitting there going, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? When you join Voice Bunny, what they do is they'll give you a bit of a boost in searches. I don't know how long that lasts for, but they do it. And that's essentially to help you build your scores and your reviews and all that sort of stuff to become the best of the best on the platform. But say something doesn't come through. You as a new voice artist on there are really going to struggle. And the kicker is that they don't mandate that any client leave a review. I'm aware of work being done that hasn't been reviewed. People who might have done 30 or 40 jobs got perfect scores but no reviews, which again is another layer of this stat system that they have that don't tie into one another. So 40 jobs, 4 reviews, which means that they're not getting the visibility on the platform as one of the best. And that's out of their control. That's out of your control as the voiceover artist, but it's not out of the control of Bunny Studios. And if they're asking you to give it away for rock bottom prices and respond immediately and do all this stuff, what are you getting back for all that effort, stress, whatever you want to call it? Now, I'm not saying that Bunny Studios, I really keep tripping up on this, I'm not saying that Bunny Studios doesn't have a value proposition and they don't do nice things. I've gone through all my ups on that. But I do have issue with their, they don't hide it, but they do say, we work with the best. And we will, if you're not getting contacted for bookings or contacts, you need to get better stats. Well, how do you get better stats if they're not finding you? Because Bunny Studios platform, and they say it, are promoting their best. It's a difficult thing to break into. Much like some of the other platforms that are out there, Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, it's all based on your rates. But other platforms, I think, do more with the same. So, it's a down. It's my last down. If you've liked this video, please give me a like and subscribe. If you found any of it informative, or if I'm way off base, again, leave me a comment. I really like engaging with the audience out there. Remember, you can absolutely be a voiceover artist. I'll see you in the next video.